Hey guys, it's Summing Rush. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the Object 140. Most people know what this tank is. I don't really feel a need to introduce it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start off with my setup. Then we're going to talk about how it plays and go into some replays and whatnot and show you how I like to play this tank. So in this case, you can see, like I said, not really going to go over the stats. Basically, what you've got is a Russian medium. So 320 alpha, really good rate of fire. You can see right here the DPM is probably overpowered too. Yeah, 3,500 without food. When you put food on, it becomes even better. But you've basically got a typical Russian medium. You've got decent gun handling, and a really fast firing gun, and an okay turret. So that's my experience with this tank. The fine details don't really matter. Like 0.31 accuracy with food is basically the same as 0.35 in practice. So that's basically it. As far as setup goes, the way I set up this tank is going to be my typical medium tank setup. So obviously I don't have very many skills, but I'm going to show you my 62A crew, and that's what I'm going to put on this tank. If I can just get this to work. Basically what I've done is I've gone for a brawling camo all-round setup. You can see that with the repairs and the camo, and then I've gone with the basics. Now, what I do on my Russian mediums, because I'm a stat patter and I like to run food, I like to put firefighting on them. So you can see I've got firefighter on the loader and the gunner. I'm going to do the exact same thing for the 140. When they hit the 5th skill, I would eventually finish off the firefighting and whatnot. So it's a pretty basic crew skill setup. I mean, it's not that complicated. One person asked me about Jack of all trades on the commander. I think Jack of all trades is extremely important, even though you've got the medkits that heal themselves. The thing is, if you're end game and you lose your commander and you have half of your view range and half of your, you don't have sixth sense and whatnot, that will throw your game. Like having 200 meters view range with a 140 in a tier 10 game, like it's just not good. So I like to save my medkits. Jack of all trades means you don't have to burn the medkits on like a dead driver. And I actually think it's really useful, even with the like 90 seconds without a commander is a huge weight. So I think Jack of all trades is good. There's no need to like waste a medkit on just a driver consistently, and Jack of all trades sort of prevents that. So that's just my 2 cents. Obviously you're going to want safe stowage on them, and I mean everything else is self-explanatory. So I would just pause the video when I showed all the crew skills for the 62A. As far as setup goes, what I typically run on, you can see this for every single medium in the game. I'll just run the rammer, VSAB, and vents. That's typical. You can see without food and with my current crew setup as it is. Here's the view range that I get. And 427, like that's more than enough for a tier 10 game. If you're going to be greedy like me and run a fire extinguisher, it's even higher. So like with food, 445, like there's no reason to go past 445. So this is my setup and why I run it, especially with the maps the way they are in this game currently. So that's just my 2 cents. I go ammo 30 and 20. The reason I don't run HE is because it's retarded. I'd rather just shoot heat. The HE, the 100mm HE will just bounce off weak spots of tier 10 heavies. So if you're in a reset situation, it's better to shoot heat because you actually have more surface area that you can damage someone on typically. So that's just my opinion. Anyways, like if you have a huge game like 10k damage, only having HE left really throws that. So that would suck if you had a 10k damage game and you had one HE shell and that threw the game. So that's just my perspective on it. I don't think HE is very useful. Alrighty, so we're on the map steps. It's a standard game. Typically what you want to do when you're on steps, especially in a medium tank, is you want to play the 890. I mean, obviously the 1-2 line works really well if you're a heavy, and they've got Artie in this case, but as a medium tank, looking at their lineup, you can see they've only really got 3 top tier mediums, and I can easily deal with that. So I'm making an educated decision here. I know my skill and I know what I can sort of expect to win. So I'm going to this position because I want to try to shoot their tier 9 mediums. So that's what we're doing right here. You can see they've got light tanks who are trying to scout early game. It's going to cost them, like that RU's going to die. What he's done is he's gone over to this rock here. You're going to notice I'm really aggressive, but all the plays I'm making aren't committing. So that RU has committed to his rock. But because of the position that they're in and they're likely to be in, I'm just not going to commit and like YOLO the RU. I'm always giving myself sort of like a semi-exit route, if you see. Right here I'm moving up. I sort of want to kill the RU, but you're going to notice like I'd be pushing into a crossfire. This position right here, early game, doesn't work. So that would be my only option, either that or the rock to my left. And the rock isn't an option really. So I want to be aggressive. You're going to see that I want to kill their RU. He's an easy kill. He's committed. I don't want to get him out of the fight. But you're going to see I keep trying to make these pushes, and I'm just going to turn around because it isn't really safe. So I'm traversing my hull right here. I put a shot into the 5120. You can see I do want to kill that RU. I'm expecting the Scent and the Leopard to poke up on the right, but they didn't, and we're able to put a second shot into the 5120. So you're going to notice a lot of people think of this game as like black and white, like you're either committed or you're not. You're going to notice I'm always giving myself, well, normally I give myself an exit route. When I wanted to push into the RU, I changed my mind. A lot of people will just like tunnel vision on someone and commit, and then they'll pay dearly for it. It's just something you need to keep in mind, I guess. That's what happened right there. So right now they've got a mouse. What I'm doing in this point in time is I'm counting. I see that they've got about 5 shots to kill all their mediums right now. I know they have the mouse down low. The mouse's position is useless. He's not able to impact the fight, and the reason like his position works is because he's got 3 teammates right here. The second these guys die, I can get to the side of the mouse. So I know this at the time that I'm playing it, and you're gonna see me. I sort of want to be aggressive here. I'd love to kill their mediums right now, but it doesn't work basically. So that mouse is sort of like, he's in a bad position, but he's in a mouse, which is a very strong tank. You're gonna, like, I tried to commit to the rock, then I changed my mind because the mouse was pushing up. I lose about 800 hit points for doing that. But it's not the end of the world. I'm in an okay position. I know that mouse is pushed up. I now have a lot of information. I can sort of make an educated decision on the outcome of this match. So they've got like 4 one-shots in this area. I mean, some of them are more than one-shots, but the mouse is starting to push, and you can see how bad his position is right now, because the second he tries to shoot really anyone, I'm able to just put shots into the side of his turret. Now, I'm loading heat right now, and I'm going to draw your attention to the minimap as I'm trying to kill this guy. They're playing the 1-2 line. Now, I sort of expect to lose the 1-2 line. That's basically because I have counting skills. You can see we've got 4 tanks here. They've got 3. You don't have to be a genius to sort of understand that they're probably going to win the 1-2 side. And in this case, we need to win the 9 line, because if they win the 1 line and we haven't won the 9 line, you know, I'll be back at the base in the tracks right here, just sort of trying to farm damage. That's going to be the end of the game. So the match is literally being decided right now. We have to win this side. Otherwise, they're going to be able to push up, get in the tracks, you know, maybe get on cap. Not really on this map, but we have to win this side of the map before they win theirs. So I need to kill this mouse right now. A lot of people don't understand how important that is. But, you know, it's just one of those things. We need to kill him currently. So right here I'm playing hull down. You can see I'm trying to just put as many shots out as I possibly can. If you're in a situation like this, you want to be shooting the lowest HP if possible. Obviously the Scent isn't really giving me easy shots, and he's sort of suppressing me from the mouse. So it puts me in a tricky position, because I want to kill the Scent, but I can't YOLO the Scent, obviously, with the mouse there. So the mouse gets stunned. He's giving me the side of his turret. Again, you're going to notice that we're losing the 1-2 line. You can see them start to retreat. That sort of implies that they're losing that side. Obviously, you can't tell in this position, but you can have a fairly safe bet. So we managed to clear off this side. You can see the game is close right now, but we're going to lose the 1-2, and that's going to sort of put the odds in their favor. What we want to do is we want to get on cap quickly to try to like draw them back or whatever, split their forces, and maybe give our team a chance on the 1-2 line. All right, so that's like the advantage of speed. What we're going to do right now is we're pushing into their base. Like I said, they've got a couple TDs. They've got 4. They've got an RHM and an STRV. The STRV's lit, but the RHM isn't. So I actually expect the RHM to be at like K5-ish, give or take. And so I'm just trying to stay safe from that. I'm keeping cover between myself and where I expect the RHM to be. Now, what I don't expect is the RHM to be right there. So you can see I very quickly get safe. And I'm going to use this position to be held down against the Tiger. Right here, I will admit, it's very lucky that I don't get XVM focused by Artie, but luckily that doesn't happen, and I'm able to, you know, abuse this position right here. Now, I don't really want to be throwing away my HP in this situation. You can see they are pushing the 1-2 line. Makes me think they're going to be winning that side, but I do throw away some HP right here. Now I'm a one-shot for their T30, which is on the 2 line. And that's a bit problematic. Now, what you're going to notice is the Tiger and whatnot are, you know, threatening me and whatnot. There's the clicker, but the Yag Tiger just sort of drives in and kills them, which is great. That's going to allow us to like get on cap and whatnot. It's absolutely hilarious. Now, like I said, you can see I was predicting this all game. I knew we were going to lose the 1-2 line, so I'm pushing this side. Now, they have the RHM dead. They've got everything has been spotted on the 1-2 line. And right now is sort of when you'd want to try to put 3 on cap and fast cap. the way my team does that isn't the greatest. We put only one on cap, and where he sits on cap isn't very good. So you can see as I'm trying to like prepare to screen, I want to bleed them because I'm expecting them to come across the field to try to eventually reset. Already gets lit. It's amazing, but you know, well, I'm just trying to explain what's happening. What's going to happen is we're going to put a guy on cap. I want to bleed them as they try to cross the field. And we're just going to have to try to make that play. You can see I say cap now, cap 3. That's because we need to put 3 on cap. Now, I'm going to go screen, and the reason for that, even though I'm a one-shot, normally I'd suggest a low HP cap. I know I'm a valuable player, and I'm sort of like, I don't know, just I'm a better player to be screening than most other people on the team. I'd rather, you know, entrust that with myself. So I'm being aggressive. I want to try to help out the 50-41. But what he does is he puts himself here on cap. And while I was streaming this, I even mentioned this, like he should have been right here. That would have meant the Patton has to expose himself even further to like reset and whatnot. And that might have meant he could actually get more cap points. So it's just one of those things. You need to be smart when you put yourself on cap. It's a big space, and there's actually a lot you can do on there. Now, right here, I'm shooting at the Patton. I'm expecting there to be a Jagdpanzer right over here. That's something you can expect because he was last spotted there. He's a slow tank. We just capped out. I would expect him to try to be looking in this area. So I'm focusing on just getting shots off quickly on the Patton because I don't want to give this guy a chance to like reliably pen me. So you're going to see I put a shot into him, I back up, I take a hit from the Jagdpanzer. That was entirely expected. To be honest, it's a bit lucky he didn't pen me, but this is a Russian medium, so. Right here, you can see the Patton he's poking. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go over the ridge. Obviously, I just got hit by the Jagdtiger or Jagdpanzer. I would expect other people to be right there. You can see there's an STRV. And what I was doing during this stream is I was watching my left-hand side because you can see it's pretty obvious that they push up the 2 lines. So this is the type of situational awareness that's really useful when you're playing tier 10 mediums. I know where that guy is. I was, you know, I expected him to be there. And because of that, I didn't like rush the Patton. I mean, I couldn't have with this HP, but if I had more and a 69 was on my flank, that wouldn't have been good. So when you're playing, try to like predict where enemies are going to go. And if you pay attention to the map and like notice, oh, okay, I made a mistake. He actually went and pushed the north or something. You know, you very quickly learn from your mistakes if you pay attention. So there's that. You can see the Patton's coming up for the Scorpion. I put a shot into him, back off because I don't want to get hit by the Yag. There's a T30 pushing the middle road and a T69, you know, on our ass. I can't push the 69 because of my HP situation, so we're going to take advantage of the easy kill on the T30. The Jagdtiger sets him on fire, and now they've just got 2 tanks left. So this is actually a really strong position for us to be in, even though we've got low HP. What I want to do is I want to try to force that T69 to like push up the K line or something. And eventually what's going to happen is we're going to use the Jagdtiger as bait and put him on cap. So this is like, I'm just going to let the fight progress. You can see the 69 starts pushing up. I turn my gun. I want to be able to put a shot into him. We got heat loaded here. That hits. And now he's only got 1,000 HP. Now, I'm going to pause. Actually, I don't really need to pause it because it takes some time. They've got a 69 and a Jagdpanzer. None of them are in fantastic positions, right? Like if the Jagdtiger gets on cap or stays where he is, even he's actually just going to stay where he is. What that allows me to do is that allows me to come behind him, and you're going to see when slow tanks like this are at the end of the game, it's very easy just to take advantage of having 2 people. So right here, I'm asking the Jagdtiger literally just to do nothing. All he needs to do is he needs to stay there and just survive, because that's going to allow me, like, him being here forces the Jagdtiger to look at one of us, right? So I'm going to increase the angle when fighting this Jag, and we're just going to sort of take advantage of having 2 tanks while hoping the 69 doesn't really do much. I mean, even if he does, it's easy for the Jagdtiger to stay where he is. Now, what you can see me doing is I'm using the aiming circle and the Russian medium camo. I want to get here quickly because it's really likely the T69 tries to push up. The Jagdpanzer gets spotted. I'm going to put shots into him. And what I'm going to do right here, even though that bounces, I'm going to be using this rock for cover. It's very likely he might try to blind fire me. Obviously, if I hit him 2 or 3 times, he's going to figure out where I am. So even though I'm not lit, and I'm not going to get lit from this position, I'm poking from different corners. I'm using using the cover available to me because he might just try to blind fire me. And you're going to see he does that right here. So I back up. He's going to try to take a blind shot, I think, relatively soon. And he hits the rock right there. And so that's why I was using cover. All he had to do was get lucky. Right there, I'm trying to put a heat blind shot into his lower plate. He gets lit. The Jagdtiger gets the kill. And now we have this, there's 5 minutes left. I'm a one-shot, and there's a T69 left. So we're not going to go chase down a 69. I'm a one-shot the Yag Tiger's a fucking Yag Tiger, so it's slow as hell. What I'm going to ask him to do is get on cap. Now, this guy is an absolutely fantastic player. Like, I haven't looked at his stats or anything, but the way he plays, and like, huge thanks for him to, like, listening to my suggestions. He's just a great team player, so I really appreciate that from this guy right here. And what you're going to see is I asked him not to chase the 69. He's a Yag Tiger. I say, please get on cap, and he's going to do that. So there's a 50-41 who he's going to use for cover, and basically that's going to be the game right here. I'll speed it up because we're watching a Yag Tiger cap out. It's not really entertaining. All right, so as this guy gets on cap, he's safe doing this for the most part. Like, the odds are that the 69 isn't going to push into him. I'm asking for him to get on cap. He's going to use the 54E1 for cover, and what I'm going to do is I'm expecting the 69 to push around the north or something. So he's either going to play the north or like the field to try to get resets. So I'm just finding a random bush here. There isn't really a method to doing this. It's just like I'm putting myself in a position that allows me to cover the options. He's either going to push through the K line, in which case the Yag Tiger has the advantage. He'll push through the 8 line, which I'll spot him, or the field, and I'll spot him. So this is a really strong position to be in. You can see he gets on cap. That's probably one of the worst things you can do in this situation because he just told us exactly where he is. I spot him as he goes back to reset. Now I'm just going to be hull down, and I'm able to finish him off right here. Obviously, I get the low roll because reasons, but you can see that right there. So that was a 5-kill game. The Yag Tiger got 5 kills. I got 5 kills. Played really well. Like, the Yag Tiger did an amazing job. And you can see 6.8k damage. So that's pretty much the results. If you want to see the end plates, like the battle results, I'll put them in the description. And yeah, let's go look at the next game. Alrighty, so this is a game that I literally just played. I wanted to get another 140 replay for this video, so I went and played 2 games. This was my second game, and we're on Kharkov. So in this situation, when you're on Kharkov in a medium like this, you're often going to be forced into a brawling type of fight. So what I'll typically do on Kharkov is I'll play D5, and then I'll sort of watch the map and see how things unfold. This is one of the more tricky maps to predict where people are going to go. So given their lineup, I don't really know where they're going to play. I'm just going to do what sort of generally works for me, and I'm going to keep my eye on the map because it's very likely that something I want to be impacting where the fight happens. So at this point in time, I'm sort of blind. I can't predict where that's going to happen. So I'm just going to like make a play. I'm not going to be too aggressive. I'm going to keep my eye on the map all game and then go from there. So that's just sort of my advice. If you don't know where the enemy's going to go, do something that isn't going to get you killed. And then just sort of watch your map and try to find out where the majority, like the big fight is happening, and just go to it and figure that out. So what I typically like to do is I'll go in this location right here. That lets you get cross shots on the people who are crossing right here. And you can see I'm just sort of waiting for that to happen. Nothing's going to happen just because that's the way this game plays out. I'm not able to get a whole lot of early damage. Now, one thing you can sort of get away with, if there's nothing here keeping you lit, and there's nothing on this corner, and there's nothing on this corner, like, spotting you, and they have tanks in the middle road, you can sort of like poke on them. They'll never be pre-aimed on you unless you're spotted or something. So you can see E4 right there. He isn't even looking at me. I'm able to take my time aiming. And obviously the second I try that, there's 2 tanks camping me. So that's just something I did. It's one shot of damage. It won't win you games or anything, but it's a good way to turn people's guns. Now you can see the majority of our team is sort of in the center right here. You can see that's where the majority of their team is too. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this position. If you're doing nothing for more than like a minute or 2, you want to leave that position because you can see the majority of the battle is very likely to happen in the center because that's where their team is and that's where our team is. So I'm just going to where the tanks are, and I'm just going to try to do my best on that side. Alright, so right here I'm just trying to decide how passively I want to play it. I notice the WZ is backing up. I don't want to like block him and get him shot or anything. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drive forwards. He's got low HP, and we're going to sort of like help out this T30. You can see he's calling for help. And this is a bit of an aggressive play. This is a pure judgment call. I'm in a fast tank. I'm sort of able to run away if I want to. I've got a T34 who I'm trusting to suppress this E4 in the middle because what might happen is the E4 might try to drive up here. So when you're making a play like this, especially in a medium, you need to be aware of your surroundings and the possibilities, right? Like a lot of people might not expect that E4 to come up, but if that T34 died, it would be very likely that the E4 like dries up and tries to flank us. So you just need to be aware of that kind of thing when you're making a play like this. I've come over to help the T30. It's only a T32 right here. And a tier 8 mediums, a tier 8 French heavy. So we're just going to put shots into them. You can see I'm side scraping. They don't even really shoot me here, so there is that. Now, in this situation, the T30 is like hugging the corner. He was preventing me from side scraping. I choose not to like die for him. You can see they're all stunned, but I'm not going to kill myself to save him. His play like pissed me off at the time. So he's just taking hits here. I thought he would have had a repair kit because you could see he was full HP. And it's sort of like I'm a bit confused right here because I don't understand why he's not repairing his tracks. But it's just a situation. Realistically, I couldn't have gone and taken hits for him with 3 tanks looking at me. So, you know, it's just one of those things. You can see I take a hit. The T30 like proceeds to drive forwards and whatnot. I'm going to kill the M4 if I can. 32 becomes a one-shot, so I want to kill the lowest HP. When you're in a brawl, you always want to focus on the one-shot. So you can see I'm going for the M103. Going to try to kill him, someone else, or I get the kill actually. Then we're going to go for the AMX M449. Now, the reason I'm going for this guy right here is because I would go for the E75. He's got 1000 HP on him. But you can see the second I look away, the 49 tries to like shoot me. So there is that. We've won the city. I'm going to pick up the kill on the E75, and the WT shoots HE into my ass. Now, I knew he was there. I was aware that that was a possibility that he shoots me. And I was prepared to lose 750 hit points because I thought he'd have the big gun. But he's using the small gun and shot HE, so it works out. Right now we're going to flank that E4. You can see we pushed our side quickly. That's going to give us a huge edge. And this is just sort of like a real situation that you're going to be put into in your 140. It's very normal to get a map that isn't conducive to medium play, and sometimes you have to be aggressive, try to use your hit points and what little armor you have to just make the most of the map. So, I don't know. Not really a spectacular game. I end up turning this into a Top Gun, but I think this is good to show when reviewing a tank instead of just like a lucky 10k damage game, which I've had. But you know, it's just like this is how the 140 actually plays, and this is what you can expect to get out of it. You're gonna have to try to bring your tank to where the majority of the enemies are gonna be. Try to win that engagement. If you don't know, if you don't know where they're gonna be, and if you can't win that engagement, typically you're gonna have to push another side of the map and get on cap, or you're gonna lose. So there's that. Right here, we're just chasing down damage. I'm gonna side scrape against this WT. He sees me and he doesn't shoot at me, like he looks away, and I guess that's because my side scrape put him off. And then the rest of the game is just sort of chasing down the 5th kill, killing the RD, and making this a 5k damage game. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go talk about this tank in the garage for a couple more minutes, and then yeah, that'll be the review. Alrighty, so the next question is, do I think this tank is worth getting, or should you get this before the 62A? And there's probably going to be a ton of people asking in the comments who didn't watch the whole video, but, YouTube is YouTube. And in my opinion, if I were to reroll, I guess I'll look at it from this perspective. If I were to reroll and start a brand new account, I would get the 62A. And the reason for that is the 140 has worse gun handling, it's got worse module damage, and it's got a slightly worse turret. But the big thing for me is the gun handling and the module damage. If I were to reroll, I would be the guy, like typically I'm a stat patter anyways, but I like to run my mediums with food. The 140 will literally get on fire when it shoots in the front. So it's a bit like the German heavies in the sense that they used to get lit on fire when you shoot their lower plate. This thing is just like that, except it's like the whole upper plate. It's like a specific corner. I don't know which, but I think it's on the right-hand side when you're shooting at it, but it actually might be here. I don't know. The best bet is to look it up on TanksGG if you care, but it has like a frontal fuel tank, which is on the side, gets you lit on fire all the time. And I don't appreciate the module damage of this tank. I don't think losing your driver, getting lit on fire, being forced to carry a fire extinguisher, and combined with the gun handling is worth it. I think the 62A is a better deal considering it's slightly slower, but overall it's got better gun handling and whatnot. So maybe an incoming review on the 62A. I prefer the 62A. That's why I have the better crew in here. This used to be my 140 crew. I moved it over to here. But that's just my 2 cents on whether you should get the 140 or 62A. If I were to reroll, I would get the 62A first, simply because the reasons I stated. So yeah, I mean, I hope this video is helpful. If you want to see more, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. And I hope to see you around. Later, guys. Bye.